I was 17 when I got married. I had my first slap on my wedding night. It went on, it carried on 4 months into marriage. He went out for the night, never returned for 2 days. I was on my last with my pregnancy because I was pregnant when I got married. It was a week before Christmas in 1975. And yes, when he eventually returned home and I wanted some questions answered from where he was, I was beaten up. I landed up beaten. I was still bruised when I gave birth to my first daughter. Then it stopped because things was going better. There was a little baby. In all of this, that I was still sore with stitches in me of giving birth to my first daughter. He wanted to, as he called it, make love to me. And only years later did I realize that was the night he raped me for the first time. And in the interim, I fell pregnant again. And I didn't know that. 11 months later, my second child was born. And I was only 19 years old. But then I had 2 kids. Abuse made me not validate myself. I didn't feel I was a beautiful woman. I always felt that it was my fault that I got the slap or kick or fist in my face, or that he spat into my face. And that went on. Went on till I was 24. And I decided this was it. And in July 1983, I walked away. With my 4 kids, I left one night at about, 20 past 9. I'll never forget it. I left, I went to put my kids by the lady who looked after the little ones. Left the 2 with my mom that went to school, and I went to sleep in a yard. And a Muslim neighbor always dressed me in the morning. She would put me, I don't know what you call it, those black clothes covered my face so that he wouldn't find me on Mitchell's Plain Station. And I would see him standing there, waiting to find me because I had to go to work. And that was my disguise to get onto the train, get to work. It went on, and then I filed for a divorce, and September the 20th, 1983, the divorce was finalized. And so nicely he wasn't at court. I went to Supreme Court, got my divorce that day of the 20th of September. I went back to work. I felt very good in my sister's tweed suit that she borrowed me, and she did my hair, and I had high heels on again, and I was feeling all woman that day. And lo and behold, I was back at work for about 2 hours when my boss called. There was someone who wanted to see me in the front, and it was his aunt, and the next minute he walked in and he smashed my face up again. And there we stood all in shock because the blood was all dripping from my broken nose. And I still felt good because I had my mom make a grand dinner that night to celebrate my freedom. Celebrate the fact that somehow I found strength to walk away from an abusive marriage, from an abusive relationship where fear had me believe that this is love. Only years later now I realize that it was never love. It was fear that kept me so long in a relationship. And every time I thought, if I have another baby, it's going to get better. It never got better. Then I got married a second time years later. Then it was emotional abuse. It was emotional to the fact that I was the silly one. I felt only years later, and especially now when I'm alone, I felt, how did I devalue myself by begging to hang on to something that there was nothing left for? Because emotional is as bad as physical. And if I think back, I was stupid, and I really call myself stupid, where I drove to Neisner thrice on one day to have one stupid argument with a man that I should have seen that didn't want me or didn't respect me. And this is why I say, we as women, we need to look at ourselves and discover our power from deep within, because we are valuable, we are lovable, we are beautiful. If we stand in the mirror and we look at ourselves and we say to ourselves, wow, you are beautiful, you are lovable, you are value,